Oh yeah, Greg is laughing in the background because I always say well at the start of every show, and I feel like it's just got to the point now where I have to do that. Like it's not even just me. Well, it is certain part of me that's just subconsciously just doing it and just saying well. Maybe because I'm just fed up of doing this show. Shall we just give up? No? Alright. Carry on. And how many do you think we can get to before it's just... right, last week, Gareth Hughes, wasn't it? He had some t-shirts. That was a laugh. If you didn't listen to that, head to SoundCloud. Also on iTunes. Not many people know that. And HGW Pod, you can hashtag that and fucking just follow it. And it's one of those things you have to do. Or not, as many people haven't. So this week, I'm delighted to say that we have Robin Edwards on the show. Hello, are you alive?
Hello, yes I am.
How's it in that wardrobe?
It's good. It's slightly smaller than I was expecting.
Always the case.
And I can see a little hint of whatever you've got stored above me. I don't know if it's
a little hint.
Pyjamas or pants.
No, it's not. I have my bedding.
Bedding?
Yeah, I've got
very good.
I've got the duvet. I've got the duvet cover, pillowcase, and bedsheet. So I went for the whole...
You're not an adventurous man, I take it.
Well, what else would you have in a bedding set?
I don't know.
Like one of those things you put, like a cover. Not a cover, a throw.
That's it. Bedspread.
Bedspread.
That's the one.
Bedspread.
Yeah.
No, I don't have one of those.
That's a shame.
Actually, I do. Yeah, I do. I've got it right here. It's down here. There.
I can't see it from in here.
That's a good point. It's just it's basically a bedspread.
Very good. Do you use it?
Well, clearly not, because it's just gathering dust on literally gathering dust on my floor. Tottenham Hotspur bedspread. Wasted, clearly. There you go. So, Robin, you've come all the way down to Lincoln.
Yeah, I have. Or up, depending on which way up you've got the map.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'm currently based in Bristol.
How's that going? You're just being handed my bedspread.
Oh, thank you.
It is dusty and filthy.
It is.
Yeah.
Shall I? I'm just going to put it down by my feet.
Yeah, where it belongs.
Yeah. Good.
So Bristol.
Yeah.
What's Bristol like?
It's good.
Yeah.
I think it's raining, but then it's raining here as well.
You think it's raining in Bristol?
Well, it often does. I haven't checked, to be fair.
No.
It's just a educated guess.
Yeah, chances are.
Yeah.
You're right there.
That's the one.
What? Right. That's the one. What do you want to talk about? Have you got anything you want to talk about?
Well, I've set the lighting up.
Yeah.
Nicely. So I've got the.
I think it's quite good.
It is.
What combination
nice.
did you go for?
I've gone with the top light and the back light.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
So as not to be unnecessarily blinded.
Yeah, you don't want the front one just on there.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
It's just an option, that one.
Yeah.
Don't really need
it.
No,
I'm glad you've made it customizable.
Yeah. No, you don't want it so it's all three on at once or nothing.
Well, that would be excessive, wouldn't it?
People have been in there and either not realised that the lights are there and so sat in complete darkness. Sam Chaplin being one of those.
Right.
And or they've decided that they want to sit in darkness.
See, this is a symptom of our all or nothing culture, isn't it? There's no middle ground these days.
No, no, I hadn't thought of it like that.
No, well, that's what it is.
Yeah, well, I'll note that down. Are you a big fan of Society?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You recommend it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't feel hugely part of it in the wardrobe.
Well, that's what a lot of people say. That people say they're unaware of time.
Right.
In there, that it's not clear how long they've been in there, and they're always surprised when it comes to the end of the show, and they're like, oh. What
you should do is put like a clock on the wall.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
But set it running too fast or too slow.
Oh.
And just mess with people.
What one thing about Society would you change?
That's a good question.
Thank you. I'll take that one.
What one thing about Society would I change?
It's a loaded question.
It's a really tricky question.
Perhaps not appropriate for the situation here. Really,
well, hang on. We've got to have a bit of a think.
Yeah.
One thing that I'd change about society, I think, like I just said, society's too black and white, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need more types of in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So would you say more indifference?
Yeah, more apathy.
Yeah.
More sort of mediocrity. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you
a little bit less enthusiasm in the world would be nice.
Yeah. Why do you always have to be the best at something?
Exactly.
Or the worst
it gets
at
a bit much, doesn't it?
Yeah. It can just be like, hey, I did all right at that.
What happened to being average? And let's be honest, the average person is average, so it's the silent majority, isn't it, mate?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that silent majority.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. What do you think about them?
Well, they don't say a lot because they're silent.
There you go. But we have to speak for them.
We do, damn right.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm doing, sticking up for them now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So...
go.
I was just going to mention this bit of paper on the wall.
Oh, okay, you jumped in.
So
that's pretty early on.
I just thought it's obviously there as a discussion piece and something to talk about.
You would think.
So I thought I might as well take the bait. You've got a piece of paper on the wall that says "Do not press me," with a little circle in it and an arrow.
Yeah.
No, I haven't pressed it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that says something about me or society.
Whoa, yeah.
It probably doesn't.
Does it suggest that even though it's just a piece of paper, you just think to yourself, well, what if it's not?
That's it, isn't it?
How can I truly know for sure that it's not?
You'd never know.
It's not something that I should not press.
No. So is this something that you've had in here for other guests?
I've had it in there for probably about 10 episodes now.
Okay. And presumably everyone says the same thing about it?
Everyone says the same thing.
Yeah.
Usually they get towards the end and go, I just want to talk to you about this. And then I always go, well, don't press it. And then they always go, how do you know I've pressed it or not? And then I go, yeah, it's pointless really. But
well, I think my reaction being the same as everyone else's is again a great example of sticking up for the average Joe.
Yeah.
Why be different when you can be the same?
Yeah. It makes life easier.
Damn right. Yeah, it really does.
When you do achieve something that's above average, or at least above average for yourself, it's always a win. And also equally, you can even in failing, you're still winning. if you know what I mean. So to me, if I've had a bad day, and then I just something like, oh, I almost spilt that tea, but I didn't.
It's a win.
That's a win.
Mm.
And someone else would go, well, you almost spilt that tea, you idiot. And it's like, well, just I'm not an optimist, but I think I'm a positive pessimist. I'm positively pessimistic.
Right.
I think that's a way of describing it.
Okay.
As in
realistic.
Yeah, realistic. So and I think that's the most positive you can be. Because I don't know, I've gone off on one now. I just think, I think if you can stop thinking big, think more, not think small, and break everything down into small parts, and be like, right, I can achieve that, but also, if I achieve that, it'll lead to this, and it'll lead to this, and then you can make that.
I think on that note, my goal for this experience is I'm going to work up to pressing this button at the end.
Okay.
And I'm going to make that the last thing I do.
Okay.
But that way, if it is the last thing I do because it's like a bomb or something, it would have been the last thing I did anyway. So
what does it matter?
Exactly.
I agree with that. I also agree with the idea of give you an example. The idea of doomsday or any kind of prophecy predicting the end of the world. So, right, you're on the part where it's like, hey, it's the end of the world. You can only fail. in predicting the end of the world. Because if you're right, everyone's dead.
That's it.
Right? And if you're wrong, everyone's like, ha ha ha, you idiot. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it? So if you're on the other side and you're like, oh, it's not the end of the world. If it is the end of the world, everyone's dead. Don't matter. So why would you choose to predict the end of the world?
Exactly. So,
and that applies to all of us.
I'm going to confidently say that pressing this button will not result in my demise.
And no one can prove you wrong.
Exactly. Well, they can.
Unless it's actually just
if
it kills you.
If it's just me, but then I won't know about it, so why do I care?
Or it kills me.
That's the point.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's another one.
I've not thought of that. Well, I'll press it anyway.
It's like that. Oh. Now I'm alive. It's like that one where there's two people in... Well, you're in a jail cell and there's a button and you know that jail cell will get you out of the jail. But someone else is in another jail cell next to you and they also have that button. And if you press it at the same time, you both die. But if you press it first, they die and you get out.
Right.
That old one.
Game theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you do?
What would I do?
Press it immediately? Someone said that to me though. I'll just go straight in and press it and then I'm out because the other person would think, they'd be like, oh, should I press it or not? Oh.
But what if the other person is the other person that you spoke to that said they'd press it straight away?
Yeah, could be. You don't know who
which
it
means
is.
that the next person is me.
Well, it could be in this scenario.
Yeah.
Like, it was more just a general kind of...
Right, okay.
You know, what's morally right to do.
Right.
Should you kill someone to save yourself? So you'd do what? You would...
to be honest, I've lost track of the options.
Just not bother.
I probably wouldn't bother.
Maybe just negotiate with the guard.
Yeah, what you got to do is, right...
Who's saying you have to press the button?
Well, that's it. The guard, he's got access to both cells, right?
Yeah.
So if you get the guard on your side, you can find out what the other guy is going to do.
Yeah.
And then you've got insider info.
Yeah, and just negotiate.
Yeah,
I haven't thought of it like that. But then there's also, what on earth is, like, what could possibly be that you press a button and it kills you? What's in that jail cell that's going to just immediately kill you? We're not in the film Saw here.
Well, maybe what happens is when you press the button, they just stop feeding you. So who said it was immediate?
I hadn't thought about that one as well.
You press the button, right? Or the other person presses the button?
I'm not going in the jail cell.
No.
I've decided that it's too much hassle. Let someone else play that game. And just, I'll just...
You can tell that to the judge.
Oh, well, he's not a very good judge. Like, he's a bit... I think it's a bit sickening, really. Like, what's society come to that you're having to decide on who lives in...
Well, that's black and white again, isn't it? Hey, where's the middle ground?
Full circle.
That's it.
Yeah, what's that? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
People need to sort it out, I reckon.
What the judge should say is suffer a little bit and then get back to work.
Very magnanimous of him.
Order, I will have silence in my court. Defendant, you have been found to be guilty of murder. What do you have to say for yourself?
Can I just... all I want to say is, like, sorry, because I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. So, if anything, it should be manslaughter, I think, and just let me deal with it. I'll just deal with it, you know?
What do you mean by such things?
I'll just deal with it. Look, I can sort it out. No need for punishment, okay?
You shall be given some time to sort out your affairs in regard to this matter.
Yeah, I think that's just a better way of going, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay, cheers. I'll be going. Bye. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. How can you truly know? How can you judge how much punishment someone deserves? Like, so, for instance, the death penalty. Let's get on that.
Yeah.
Right, so someone's killed someone, and by this logic, they should die as well. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, so it's bad for someone to die, or it's bad for someone to be killed. So we will kill the person who killed them. But then you've killed someone. So that doesn't, in my head, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think if as the state, if you're going to say we think killing is bad, you have to live by that.
Rehabilitation, that's what it is. But also, what's the best way of going around that? Because that's another tricky one. You can't just think we'll spend, it's not just necessarily money, but time on this person who we don't know if it's just a case of that's who they are.
Yeah. No, it's a very tricky one. But on average, if you pour resources into rehabilitation, then on average you'll end up with a better result.
More needs to be put on it though.
You'll get a few cases where it doesn't work and you wasted your money, but that'll be balanced out by the times when it does work.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad we're getting to the real points here.
Yeah, I think so.
This episode.
Yeah.
What else have you got? Like, anything else you want to tackle?
What, like big issues?
Why not? It can be small issues.
Small issues.
It's not black and white, mate.
No, that's very true. In between, sort of middling-sized issues.
Yeah, just. Well, I know you're big on your environmentally friendly stuff.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
What's going on in the environmental world these days? Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's a big
Who
one.
would have thought he was going on in the climate change world?
Oh dear.
Sticking his head in.
Yeah.
Well, he's president, so that'll be why.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's allowed to, isn't he? But just because he's president doesn't mean he knows anything.
Well, that's what. And doesn't mean he necessarily can do any of that.
No.
Which is, in light of all the terrifying things he is saying and doing, I have taken some comfort in seeing that. Hang on, there are people that have common sense that are in power, which is nice to see. So obviously with the climate change stuff and the Paris Agreement and all most of the states coming together and going, now we're not really going to do this. We're going to stick to.
Yeah, no, that's that's reassuring.
So at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you got an idiot in charge, but at least there's some people trying to, fight the good fight.
Yeah, it's reassuring that they've listened to the people that do know what they're on about. Because the thing is, I don't understand the science behind it. Neither do you. It's incredibly complicated stuff. But you got to choose who to listen to, right? Do you listen to the people that spend their lives figuring this stuff out, or do you listen to someone who just reckons that it's probably all a hoax?
Yeah, who happens to be 70 years old.
Yeah,
and a big business guy who has historically had shares in stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I can't tell you what to do. Trump can.
Job of a leader should be to choose the right people to listen to.
Yeah.
Not to make statements off their own opinion.
Don't make every single call. You don't have to.
No.
But he feels he does.
There's one of the best quotes I've ever read in, I forget which book it was. It was a really old book on humanism or something, I think, from the 30s. And the author pointed out that the problem is the people in power have no expertise and the experts have no power.
Yes, I remember reading that.
So it's completely the wrong way round.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Well, yeah, no, it is. And that was another thing I was reading on his stuff with transgender for the military. And obviously there was a lot of outrage, quite rightly, about that. But I was thankful to then read another article, I hope was with good sources, that basically he can't do that. There's no, there's a lot more he has to go through than just tweeting, hey, this is now a thing, which he's been doing a lot of.
Well, what do you think of this, the new method of ruling, which is essentially via Twitter?
It's it's crazy.
Is it the new method of interacting with the masses? Maybe maybe it connects to more people than ever before. Maybe it's a good thing.
It could be a good thing. It sure is making me more politically.
The Pope's got Twitter these days.
Well, exactly. There's far more people politically engaged because of social media, and whether it's for the better or whether it's where there's a lot more negativity there, it still means that there's more engagement, which is always good because then there's more opinions out there, and hopefully people can come to some sort of agreement on that. But with him just tweeting like that, it's just like I go on Twitter and I just go, oh mate, the teapot smashed today. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to wonder, does he consult anyone before tweeting this stuff, or is he just in bed?
Well, that's it, because apparently his administration and everything are like, can you stop it? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna. And he's also just going around blocking people.
Right.
And he's not meant to do that. He's not allowed.
Right.
But then again, he's not allowed to do a lot of stuff apparently, but he does it, which is always I do everyone's like, oh, he's gonna get impeached, and I'm like, I reckon he won't get impeached, but he'll resign because of something really stupid, just kind of minor.
People have been saying that. Oh, I see, minor. But I was going to say people have been saying that he'll resign or whatever since he first came on the scene. And then
but it's not been
it got stupider and stupider and stupider. And at every step of the way, people said, right, this is the final straw. This is the end. And it just kept going. So I think Donald Trump is really smart in the way that he's crafted this persona in the sense that he now has a position where he can say literally whatever he likes. He's done so many outrageous things, and I almost think he's done it on purpose, because it means that the next outrageous thing he does won't be that outrageous.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's that. And because he does it so that you'll have some people going, haha, Trump, what an idiot. Then you'll get other people going, yes, finally someone's has the balls to do stuff, to stick by their
That's
guts.
it. And
even if they don't agree with it, they're like, oh, at least I respect that.
That's it. One analysis I've heard of Trump is that people, essentially, they don't care about what's true. They just care about someone who essentially looks like they have principles and
the establishment.
Yeah, it's, essentially, if they see someone who's not a hypocrite. So what they don't care whether Donald Trump says the right thing or not, or whether he's lying. That doesn't matter. The point is that he seems to be consistent in the fact that he's got his targets, and he's consistently fighting for, as they see it, the right people. And it doesn't matter what he says to get there.
Yeah, and I think it's also because of the timing of everything. So obviously you've got things like Brexit, and then you've got Trump going on. People are thinking, oh, we are getting an alternative vote, if you know what I mean. So the alternative is actually winning for once.
Oh yeah. And I think actually it's people. Obviously, it's been said a lot. People are sick of the the establishment and the normal politics and blah blah blah, because they don't see that it's got anything for them.
Yeah.
So they look around for the nearest thing that's different. Unfortunately, the nearest thing that's different is something that's sort of extremely crazy, like Trump or UKIP or whatever. But that doesn't mean that these people necessarily support everything that the people they vote for say or do.
Yeah.
It's just because they want an alternative. And I actually think it's really the fault of the left for not putting forward
definitely
an alternative. Yeah. Because if the left had some cool alternative, extreme, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, people would vote for that as well. And we've seen that with Corbyn.
Yeah.
A lot of people who vote for Corbyn, I don't think they really care about what he says. They're not necessarily voting for socialism or Labour's policies or anything. They're just seeing something different.
Yeah.
So actually, I think you can lump Jeremy Corbyn and Nigel Farage into exactly the same bucket, because people see them as the non-establishment alternative.
Yeah, definitely.
And while we're in this situation where establishment politics is so essentially useless, people are going to look for an alternative, and it's the responsibility of all sides to put one forward.
I got on that. Excellent point, by the way. I got on that Corbyn train. I think it's the first time. It's probably the first election that I've generally felt actually engaged, like fully engaged.
Yeah.
And someone who I actually thought, hang on, I actually believe in the stuff he's saying, even if there is still part of me that's like, I'm fully aware he can still go back on this, but I believe for the best part, he will do a better job than anyone else that's a candidate at the moment. And in any way I could, I wanted to get rid of the Tory that was in Lincoln.
Yes.
That was a priority for me.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook and the news and whatnot.
I massively enjoyed.
And you succeeded, I think.
Yeah, well, quite well. Surprisingly well. I'd already been saying that it would just stay as a norm.
Yeah.
Because Lincoln was pretty settled on conservatives for a while. But yeah, so that's always nice to see a shake-up.
It is, and it just goes to show that actually people say about, there's this new swing to the hard right or whatever. It's not true. Well, it's not a swing to the right. It's just a swing away from the norm.
Yeah, and I do think there's enough going out there that politics are getting more progressive, if that's the right term.
I think so.
I hear that a lot, but I think and it's great. I mean, it's been said a lot already, but like just seeing younger voters just going out there, it's pretty amazing the turnout this year. But yeah, it's all a bit mental, just getting excited about that, and then getting excited about Labour doing really well, but then it ending up being Tories and DUP, which in the end is just still Tories.
It sort of is. But again, it sort of isn't, because they've had to water down a lot of what they were going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really quite funny that they set out with this whole election to strengthen their position, and they've done the opposite.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, really funny.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a sad state of affairs had they gone out and gone, we are, like, well, they had got what they predicted and were like, yeah, look, everyone wants us. And instead it's gone, actually, there's quite a lot of people that
That's
don't.
it. What I think is going to happen now is essentially they're in a position where they can't really do all the sort of hardcore things that they wanted to do because they haven't got the mandate, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to toddle along for 5 years or whatever it is, and things will sort of go okay, and they won't do anything terrible because they don't have a mandate to do anything terrible.
Yeah.
What will happen next election is people will say, oh, the Tories weren't too terrible, let's vote them in. And this is exactly what happened after the Lib Dem and Tories had been in together. So the Lib Dems had kind of watered it down a bit. Tories couldn't do exactly what they wanted. That came to an end, and we had another election, and people said, well, the Tories were all right.
Well,
they didn't do anything awful. And then, of course, they got re-elected on their own, did a bunch of awful stuff, and then people said, oh, we don't want them. So they sort of got slightly unelected again, and the DUP came in, and that will go the other way. And people say, oh, the Tories, they're not awful. They can't do anything that awful. And they'll probably get voted in again with a majority and start doing awful things. And then people say, oh, dear, let's vote them out again. So actually, in a way, it's potentially damaging that they've got the DUP on board to water down their policies, because it makes them look nicer than they are.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in the next election will look at this election and go, sure, but that was a waste of time, wasn't it? And also, wasn't it better when we knew who was in charge?
Yeah.
Rather than this situation. Where
people like certainty.
Yeah.
And that's why someone like Trump is doing very well, because he's very sure of what he says.
Yeah.
He always sounds like he means what he says.
Yeah.
People don't want wishy-washy.
That's true. He's very to the point.
He is.
Even if that point is scary and threatening.
Yeah.
I do love I'm glad he's on Twitter though, because I really enjoy his tweets. They're so funny. the amount of times he just like will say something and then just follow it with sad, full stop or question or exclamation mark, and it's just it's beautifully.
Well, he's perfectly suited to the medium of Twitter, isn't he?
Yeah, because he can just fucking do his politics from his sofa or whatever, and no one else can stop him. Yeah, it's quite something. Well, that we've cut. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was just a whole thing.
Well, I think we might have solved society after all.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Just stop going to the extremes all the time, and just look to try and go through the middle.
Yeah.
So if that can be,
although we've just agreed that the middle is pretty useless, so
yeah.
so maybe there's more work to be done there.
But it'll be easier
argument.
to make the useless better than make the extreme normal.
That's very true.
So,
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. You got anything you want to say?
Well,
we're coming to the end.
I was going to talk about this fan that I brought along.
Okay, yeah.
So when Gregor phoned me up and told me about this, he said, "You'll probably just end up talking about how hot it is."
Yeah.
So I said,
But you actually haven't said anything.
I haven't said anything because it's actually not a very hot day today.
No.
But it is getting pretty warm. So I said on the phone to Gregor that I'd buy one of those little £1 fans with the foam blades, and that is exactly what I did.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn it on now and cool my face down.
Go for it. Oh. Fantastic.
That is the sound of the foam blades hitting my face. But because they're foam, I'm basically fine.
Yeah. That's a really good product.
It is. It's great. It came with batteries pre-installed.
Oh, well, that's great. That was £1.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It was from Boys in Hull.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Come to Boys. Oh, no, I just realised that is actually a shop, isn't it?
Yeah, have you never
Yeah,
been
no,
to...
there's one in Woodall Spa, which is near Lincoln.
Right, there's one in Lincoln.
Is that one?
Oh, there wasn't a reason. You know the,
oh, no, there is.
the building with the post office and the co-op in it?
Yep. That's the exact one I'm thinking of.
Right.
I don't know what I was thinking of Woodall Spa.
The great thing about Boys is all of them smell exactly the same.
I'm going to take that clip and...
Oh, dear.
Just going to take a note of that timestamp. Oh, that's my jingle. Yeah, well, I think there's no better time to leave it. Thank you, Robin, for being on the show.
You're very welcome. You'll be hearing from me.
We'll work things out.
Right.
And listen on SoundCloud. Subscribe on iTunes. Hashtag HGWPod. And yeah, we'll be back. Come on then. 22 episodes. Just depends if I can be bothered to time it well. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks, Dan.
Cheers. That was great.